onto it. So Star Trek, everybody remembers the original Star Trek, Captain Kirk and Spock, and then we had Patrick Stewart, coming in great with the Next Generation, and then maybe after about 7 years of Next Generation, then the third generation of Star Trek came in, and that was created by Rick Berman and Michael Fuller and Jerry Taylor, and it was called Star Trek Voyager. So both of Jesus's selections, and I mean the Star Trek, it's more than an anthology. It's just it's a culture. Are you all Trekkies? Do we have any Trekkies in? We've got Trekkies in the house today. So this is, for the Trekkies, this is the third generation called Star Trek Voyager, where, yes, we have a female captain. That's good. Captain Janeway, strong as they come, a female captain, the captain of the Voyager. And then she's got a commanding officer, Chakotay, who will be playing prominently in our first Star Trek episode today. He's in the second one too. He's the commanding officer right under Captain Janeway. And basically, these two Star Trek episodes I have used over the years. In fact, I have to say, honestly, I've used many Star Trek episodes where some movies dare not go, Star Trek will go. where some movies dare not go, Star Trek will take you there. So you're going to enjoy this, because once we get into the realm of dreams and dreaming, we are going way beyond personhood. If you are struggling every day with personal issues, if you're struggling with interpersonal issues, if you're struggling with environmental issues, if you're struggling with what you see on the news or on the internet, those are the preliminaries. That's the preschool to take you into the mind. And we have to, again, we thank all the great philosophers and all the great psychologists and all the great saints and avatars, because anyone who's taking you in a voyage into your mind is taking you toward I'll call it the mind of God. Christ is an idea in the mind of God. And that's what we want. We don't want to know the human mind. We're not interested. In fact, Jesus says the ego enjoys studying itself. So I have to say, much of psychology and much of psychiatry is studying the error, and certainly we even have to take our hats off for people who even attempt to go into the mind, because for people like Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung, they helped make us a little more aware that there's this unconscious mind that Carl Jung called the shadow. Is it important? Actually, yes, the exposing and the releasing of the unconscious mind is actually the most important thing you'll ever do. So it doesn't matter what your profession is. It doesn't matter what roles you have. All you're really doing every day, every moment of every day, is giving yourself a chance to allow the unconscious mind to come up to awareness. Why is that important? Because it's repressed. That's what repressed and denial means. It means pushed out of awareness. I mean, when you look at all of history, it's not like there's a lot of stuff written in the overall context of all of time and space and history. We're not hearing a lot of talk about the shadow. We see the effects of the shadow. We see what's on Plato's cave wall on a daily basis. We're watching the news, we're watching Plato's cave wall, but for most, you could say they're unaware that they're just chained and imprisoned in their mind, and that there's puppeteers, the ego's puppeting, and there's dark thoughts and doubt thoughts that are producing the projected world. So if you don't like what's going on in Ukraine, I would say this is a great opportunity to look at the unconscious mind. Whenever we perceive a war, we have to look at the unconscious mind, because the unconscious mind is what Jesus would call the war against yourself. And he does say, he's very positive. He says, the war against yourself is almost over. In fact, for Jesus, it is over. He's just hanging around with some words for us to give us a few pep talks to do what he's already accomplished. So you don't really have any reason to have anxiety or worry, because Jesus is a symbol that it's already handled. In fact, it wasn't Jesus, the man, that handled it. It was the Holy Spirit who handled the belief in separation the instant it arose. So thank you, Holy Spirit. Wow. How long did it take you? Not even 1 second, not even a fraction, a hundredth, a millionth of a second simultaneously. Oh, the Holy Spirit is fast. Handled the ego in simultaneously. And now we're just learning how to accept the correction. That's what the Course in Miracles is, accepting the atonement, accepting the correction. So basically, that's what we're going to be doing today with both of these episodes. The first episode is called Waking Moments. And the second episode is called The Thaw. And some of you have been with me when I have done these. I actually have done the Thaw many times in different countries, in different cultures. I've done the Thaw because that is probably one of the most concise and practical episodes at showing you the whole context of waking up from the dream. The first time I came upon the Thaw, I was actually doing, I was at a course group up in Detroit, Michigan, and somebody after the group came up to me, they were all fired up and they go, David, there's a new Star Trek episode and it's A Course in Miracles. The whole episode is like the teachings of the Course. And I said, okay, I'll have to check it out. What's it called? The Thaw. So you're going to, that was many years ago, but you're going to receive the benefit of that little tip I had from a Course in Miracles student who, like many of the movies and episodes I use, these are Course students and teachers that tip me off. And then I show them over and over and use them as teaching devices, and then experience the joy of just extending the parable. And these are two wonderful parables. I think we could say that escape from the ego and escape from time and space comes down to forgiveness. Really, all we're here to do is to forgive the world. We're not here to figure out the world. We're definitely not here to analyze the world. We're not here to try to draw a conclusion, because the world's a projection. Why would we put our sincerity of waking up from the dream into analyzing the projection or trying to evaluate or judge or figure out the projection, when the projection is the veil that was meant to keep us asleep? The projection of time and space is the veil that the ego generated to keep you from knowing who you are. So the next time you're concerned about something in the world, remember, it's a veil that was projected by the ego to keep you from knowing who you are. Now, the Holy Spirit can use anything that the ego made, so the Holy Spirit uses the projection. To the Holy Spirit, the world is just symbols. These are just neutral symbols that the Holy Spirit can use to take us to the leaping off point of the dreamer of the dream. That's why I said you might have a mystical experience today, because if you really want it, there's nothing the ego can do to stop you from having it. If you want it, here it is, come and get it. It's right now. And we're all viewing the beautiful parables with the prayer in our heart to experience the expansive love of God. So I think basically, there's these two episodes. What are we going to experience right now? Well, first of all, Jesus said he wanted a music video to go first before the Star Trek. I said, okay, what a day. You're going to use a music video? He said, yeah, just to get you in the mood. A little mood music, Jesus is so playful, a little mood music to get you in it. And this is anybody remember the Eurythmics? Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Well, that's what Jesus likes it too. He's a Eurythmics fan. So he's got a Eurythmics song, the famous one, Sweet Dreams. And then the visuals of it are the movie Tron. Has anybody seen the movie Tron? This movie is in my Movie Watcher's Guide to Enlightenment. I have to say, it's one of the best. It's one of the all-time classics because it's about dealing with a computer-generated world in which everything is made up, and that is the projection of the world is all based on false power, control, competition. It's a fantastic movie. I think I fall into this deep mystical state whenever I watch Tron. So he's going to have the images of the movie Tron and the Eurythmics song, Sweet Dreams. Made of these, who am I to disagree? He's going to put those two together just to put us in the mood. That's the warm-up band. That's just the warm-up band for the concert. We all like a good warm-up band too. We like to be in the mood. So that's to soften us up a little bit. We're going to get some Eurythmics music to soften us up. And then we're going to move into the first of the two, waking moments. Now, I'll give you a little bit of a hint about what these two episodes are showing. And I'm showing them in this order because we need all the clues we can get if we're going to wake up from this dream of time and space. So waking moments, the big insight we'll find from the first Star Trek episode, Waking Moments, is that we're all dreaming the same dream. There are not multiple dreams. People have said, well, we've got, 7.8 billion different people, and there's a lot of nighttime dreams going on. No, there's not. There's not a lot of dreams going on. It's an identical dream. We're all dreaming an identical dream of separation. So it's not multiple. If you believe there's multiple dreams going on, that's confusing. If anyone teaches you there's multiple dreams, that's going to be confusing. You're going to be confused. You're going to be scratching your head. What a mess. 7.8 billion different dreams. And how am I supposed to get out of that labyrinth? That's not even if you consider the cats and the dogs and the caterpillars and the butterflies. Some people are saying, don't butterflies have their own dreams? No, all dreams are identical. And that's the great benefit of Waking Moments. It's going to take us through a little skit, a little scenario with Captain Janeway and Chakotay and the crew. And we're going into an experience that all of the dreams are identical. There's really only one dream. You can't really experience that you're the dreamer of the dream until you first come to an experience that they're all the same. That's why you don't have a different dream going on than Vladimir Putin. You don't have a different dream going on than Donald Trump. You don't have a different dream than Mussolini or Osama bin Laden. You don't have a different dream from Adolf Hitler. You don't have a different dream from Saddam Hussein. It's the same dream. Whenever you're tempted to think somebody else needs to wake up, Jesus is gently smiling in your mind going, there's just one dream. I'm asking you to join me in seeing the dream as it is. as the Holy Spirit sees it. And then you can wake up. Then you're ready to wake up. But if you keep projecting, even metaphysically, onto these teachers that don't have it yet, or these people that don't have it, or these religions that don't have it, the Ku Klux Klan, same dream. Secret police, the Gestapo, Kremlin, same dream. Stop blaming the projections. There's only one dream. And that's what will help you, of course, to come into the experience that I'm the dreamer of the dream. How else are you going to be happy? How else are you going to bring happiness to all the world except through the power of your mind and the light in your mind that God gave you? The light that is Jesus Christ, the light that is the Holy Spirit. So, whoa, that's why we're going where no movie has ever gone. Woo, waking moments. It's all the same dream. Whoa, that is enormous. That's an enormous realization. Okay, another thing that's part of waking moments is some of you have heard in psychology, the field of psychology, and also in many different cultures, ancient cultures, but lucid dreaming. Has anybody ever heard of lucid dreaming? That's just that you're aware that you're dreaming. You know, a lot of us have had that experience. We're dreaming, it's a nighttime dream seemingly, or it can even be during the day. I think I might have had, when I was in university, I think I was in the back of a giant auditorium one time, and the lecturer was going on, and I was twiddling around with my pen and doing whatever, probably dancing inside my mind to "Sweet dreams are made of these," something. I don't think I was paying attention, but I think I had a moment like, wow, this is like a dream, and I'm dreaming all this. That's amazing. Darren, you talked about some of those experiences where you looked around the room, yeah, the walls, the people, yeah, the photos. So that's two aspects. That's just during the first Star Trek episode. Keep your mind open to there's only one dream. There's only one dream. It's all one dream. And lucid dreaming, that I can be aware that it's a dream. I have the capability, actually the destiny, to be aware that it's all just a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. The world is but a dream. And life is eternal. So that's important to know. Now, some of you would probably like to have a good setup from Jesus in the Course. And basically, I tried to look for a little snippet from the Course that kind of described the unconscious mind, because we have not been aware of it. Everything that we consider dark or evil or bad energy is the unconscious mind. It's just out of awareness. So we call it bad energy. We call it, we got the evil look. We call it evil people or evil things, but there is nothing good or bad under the Son of God. The Christ mind is pure light. So what seems to be positive things in the world and negative things, we could say positive things in the world are but light shadows. And when you perceive negative things in the world, you're in dark shadows. You are in the realm of dark shadows if you perceive negative things in the world. If somebody is talking to me and a Christian is talking to me and they're saying, David, hell is real, the devil is real, evil is real, I'm just smiling because I'm thinking, yeah, dark shadows. Definitely dark shadows there. The devil. Dark shadows, dark shadows. And then when they talk about how beautiful everything is in the world and, oh, it's so great and I can manifest anything and I can have all the money in the world and I can get a soulmate, I can manifest anything I want. Those are light shadows. So, and Jesus is saying, please come with me and be with me and God in heaven. The Christ and God are in heaven, and we are pure light. We are not shadows of any kind. We are eternity. We are I amness. We are infinite presence. We are infinite pure love and light, and we don't have anything to do with shadows. But the Holy Spirit is really good at taking us from dark shadows to light shadows to happy dream. You can't wake up from this world without a happy dream first, and that's definitely light shadows. Don't think there's anything special there. Shakespeare's phrase, much ado about nothing, applies to the light shadows as well as to the dark shadows, because shadows are shadows, and God is not a shadow, I'll tell you. And God is not unconscious at all. So here's a little paragraph from A Course in Miracles that gives you a taste of the unconscious mind. It's basically, he says, a brother separated from yourself, an ancient enemy, a murderer who stalks you in the night and plots your death, yet plans that it be lingering and slow. All of this you dream. Yet underneath the dream is yet another, in which you become the murderer, the secret enemy, the scavenger, and the destroyer of your brother and the world alike. Here is the cause of suffering, the space between your little dreams and your reality. The little gap you do not even see, the birthplace of illusions and of fear, the time of terror and of ancient hate, the instant of disaster, all are there. All in this tiny little gap. So the unconscious mind is this little teeny little black spot. In fact, you can't see it from eternity because it doesn't exist. You wouldn't even be able to spot it from eternity. But in terms of this world, there's just a tiny little gap, which is the time of terror. And the ego is this little gap. It's a little dark spot. You know, if you go to a radiologist and they find a little dark spot on your lung, people go, ooh, cancer. No, this is not cancer. This is the tiny little dark spot that is the inventor of all illusions. It's a tiny little gap. It's smaller than that little spot on the radiation scan. It's infinitesimal tiny thing. So basically, I'm telling you that because it's not like you should be terrified of facing the unconscious mind. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? The big bad wolf, the big bad wolf. Who's afraid of the little ego? Come on, we're going into advancement here. We're going towards dreamer of the dream. We're not going to be scared off by a little speck that's out of, we can't even see it. It's so tiny. It's so tiny. It doesn't have any reality or existence because God didn't create it. So that is how insignificant this little gap is. But Jesus is also telling us this. He says, you are the dreamer of the world of dreams. No other cause it has, nor ever will. Nothing more fearful than an idle dream has terrified God's Son and made him think that he has lost his innocence, denied his Father, and made war upon himself. So there it is. It doesn't get any clearer than that. Jesus saying, you are the dreamer of the world of dreams. He's giving it to us straight. He's not sugarcoating it. He's not trying to embellish it. He's not trying to minimalize it. He's just saying straight. This is straight. You are the dreamer of the world of dreams. He's just teaching what he learned. He's teaching what he learned when he woke up. So fearful is the dream, so seeming real, he could not waken to reality without the sweat of terror and a scream of mortal fear unless a gentler dream preceded his awakening and allowed his calmer mind to welcome, not to fear, the voice that calls with love to waken him. A gentler dream, in which his suffering was healed and where his brother was his friend. God willed he wakened gently and with joy, and gave him means to waken without fear. Wow, what gratitude we have. God gave us the means through the Holy Spirit to waken gently and without fear. Everybody knows if you try to wake up from a nightmare and you don't wake up gently, you wake up with a cold sweat and a scream, or maybe somebody else is waking you up in the middle of it. Initially, you might be relieved, but you're still sweating, which shows the content of your mind that you still believed in the nightmare. But Jesus is saying, no, come with me. The Holy Spirit will help you gently wake up from this dream, gently. It simply comes down to listen and follow. The workbook lesson I've been quoting from sometime I will today is called, I will step back and let him lead the way. And that's where the gentleness comes in. When you let the Holy Spirit go before you and you follow the guidance of the Holy Spirit, that's where the gentleness comes. It doesn't come from trying to be a hero. It doesn't come from trying to be an activist. It doesn't come from trying to take a stand against somebody. It comes from listening and following the Holy Spirit. That's the honest truth. That's the way. So what Jesus says, he says that the Holy Spirit is offering you the happy dream, or what he calls the real world. And this is a state of mind that is it basically looks on the world in a clueless way. The world looks very surreal from the Holy Spirit's perspective. He tells us in the Course that the real world is nothing like the world you perceive. There are no streets that need lights to light them. There are no stores to buy endless things that you have no need of at all. Using money that you have to go and do senseless things for, only to buy more senseless things. He's making fun of commerce and stores. He's making fun of cities. He's making fun of the human condition. And Jesus can honestly, gently make fun of the human condition because he knows it's not true. He knows none of it's true. So that's why he can make fun of it. It's a gentle humor. This is not put down humor. This is not harsh humor. This is gentle humor. Here's what Jesus says, talking about the Holy Spirit. Accept the dream he gave instead of yours. It is not difficult to change a dream when once the dreamer has been recognized. Oh, I'm going to say that again. Now we know why it's so important, the topic for the day. He says, it is not difficult to change a dream when once the dreamer has been recognized. Rest in the Holy Spirit and allow his gentle dreams to take the place of those you dreamed in terror and in fear of death. He brings forgiving dreams in which the choice is not who is the murderer and who shall be the victim. In the dreams he brings, the Holy Spirit, there is no murder and there is no death. The dream of guilt is fading from your sight, although your eyes are closed. A smile has come to lighten up your sleeping face. The sleep is peaceful now, for these are happy dreams. This is Jesus Christ. He's like singing to us. He's like singing us not a lullaby, but a wake up lullaby. He's not trying to put us to sleep. He's waking us up in the softest way possible. So here's a paragraph too that Jesus, just remember this. This paragraph has saved me hundreds of times. The minute I really have a thought that is a doubt thought about anything in this world or about any brother and sister, this is what Jesus really comes into my mind with. This is how soft he rinses me. This is for all of us. Dream softly of your sinless brother who unites with you in holy innocence. And from this dream, the Lord of heaven will himself waken his beloved son. Dream of your brother's kindnesses instead of dwelling in your dreams on his mistakes. Select his thoughtfulness to dream about instead of counting up the hurts he gave. Forgive him his illusions and give thanks to him for all the helpfulness he gave. And do not brush aside his many gifts because he is not perfect in your dreams. He represents his Father, whom you see as offering both life and death to you. So basically, every time we meet a brother or a sister, or we even think of them, if we're not experiencing the joy and the gratitude of all the gifts that were offered to us through this brother, all the encouragements and the kindnesses and softness of this sister, if we're not in full appreciation when we're thinking about a brother or sister, then we think the same of God. If you think a brother or a sister harmed you, you think God harmed you. If you think you were ignored or rejected or discarded of a brother or sister, you believe that about God. If you believe you were rejected or abandoned, you believe that about God. And believe me, God is not the abandoner here. God is pure love, and God didn't leave anybody anywhere because God didn't create the body. So God's not leaving anybody dangling around anywhere in time and space. God is just calling us home to spirit, to pure love. And God isn't the abandoner or the rejecter. That's just the ego beliefs in abandonment and rejection. God didn't create abandonment and rejection. That would be ridiculous. The world is an illusion. Those who choose to come to it are seeking for a place where they can be illusions and avoid their own reality. Yet when they find their own reality is even here, then they step back and let it lead the way. What other choice is really theirs to make? To let illusions walk ahead of truth is madness, but to let illusions sink behind the truth and let the truth stand forth as what it is merely sanity. So basically, as you start to teach and learn this, and you really start to give your mind permission to see that you're the dreamer of the dream, you will be dreaming softly. You will be dreaming gently. You will be dreaming happily. And also, it will be a sense that the body's importance in your mind's awareness will diminish. It will start to shrink and shrink and shrink. Because that little gap, that little speck of nothingness made the body. And then by identifying with the body, you put your identity into something that is pointless. I mean, Jesus says, certainly what the body is made of is not valuable. It's not going to last forever. It's very, very temporary. To think that your identity is that temporary is a very gross distortion of your true identity. You know, the body's just here and it's gone. It's like the dust. It's like the dust. Don't invest in the dust. That's what I've been talking about lately. What people are saying, what do I invest in? Invest in the spirit and take your investments away from the dust. Let's not be fooling around with the dust too long, because we really don't need to put much attention toward it. Now, here's a good one. This one will apply to both episodes today. And I found it, I was digging, Jesus had me finding all kinds of things. Here's a good one from the workbook. Many have chosen to renounce the world while still believing its reality, and they have suffered from a sense of loss and have not been released accordingly. Others have chosen nothing but the world and they have suffered from a sense of loss still deeper, which they did not understand. So these are two categories. One is to say the world's an illusion, to just say the words, the world's an illusion, and yet your attitude doesn't seem to reflect the happiness that that awareness would bring. So if you just say the words, the world's an illusion, but you're not happy, Jesus is saying, no, you've renounced the world in words, but you still believe in it because you're not happy. Look at the Beatitudes in the Bible. If you're not in those Beatitudes, then you can say the words, I renounce. And you can put on robes and cloths and all kinds of things, and you can bathe in holy rivers. You can go to the Ganga River and bathe in the holy river here and the holy river there. You can get the holy blessings and the holy water. Listen, Jesus is not interested in all these holy rituals. He's interested in holiness, which is who you are, which is your reality. And that's why he's saying many have chosen to renounce the world while still believing its reality. There's a later part I had to dig it out. I had to dig it out. There were so many good ones here, but here was one. You cannot escape from the ego by humbling it or controlling it or punishing it. You want to humble the ego? Impossible. It's a death wish. You're not going, Jesus says, don't even try to humble the ego because you're trying to humble a death wish. The Holy Spirit knows the ego is not real. That's the way to go. Go with the Holy Spirit. Don't try to escape from the ego by humbling it or controlling it or punishing it. The ego's unreality is not denied by words. Ooh, isn't that a good one? The ego's unreality is not denied by words. Oh, he's sending us toward the dreamer of the dream because he knows we want it. But he knows that just to say the ego is an illusion, is not going to do it. I know there's a lot of well-meaning Course in Miracles students and teachers who sometimes, when confronted by traditional Christians, and they say, what is this crazy course? It says the devil's not real. It says that sin isn't real. It says that evil isn't real. And the course student or teacher will try to say, yes, that's correct. and usually there's a big calamity that happens after those words. Jesus is saying, no, your state of mind, your gentleness, your kind, sweet eyes, your sweet, soft smile, your gentle presence, the I am presence is how you teach this course. And if you just say the ego is not real, or if you go into a Christian church and you say the devil's not real, Jesus is saying, remember, the ego is not denied by words. Just if you think you're going to get to heaven by spouting metaphysics, you need to have peace of mind. You need to have a happy heart. You need to have gleeful eyes in order to experience the kingdom of heaven. Don't try to do it through the words. Here's another one. No one can escape from illusions unless he looks at them, for not looking is the way they are protected. So if you look at all the teachings I've shared these last 36 years, or the books, or the videos, or the audios, it's all about unveiling and exposing the ego, not by trying to do something in form to escape it, and not even thinking I have to say the right words. Even if you say the right words, if you're not happy in your heart, Jesus is just smiling and shaking his head, going, no, that's not the gospel. The gospel is a gospel of love. The gospel is a gospel of non-judgment. The gospel is accepting your brothers and sisters as they truly are. So he's telling us, lay off the Christians. And while you're at it, lay off the Hindus. And while you're at it, lay off the Buddhists. And let's lay off the atheists. Come on, he's saying to us, let's lay off the atheist. Religion, theology is not the truth. Theology is like a little trampoline that you bounce on for a while and hopefully bounce off. Hopefully you leave your theology behind and you have a simple, happy heart. And that's all Jesus is asking us for. He's not asking us to be scholars or theologians. He's not asking us to be psychologists, philosophers. He just wants us to be happy. Even Helen Schuckman, he told Helen Schuckman at the end, I love you. She was concerned about the book, whether she did a good enough job. And Jesus is like, I love you. Those 3 words, that's the whole thing right there. Oh, well, thank you for the book, and I love you. That's good. So I think that's a pretty good start. I think we're going to let Star Trek show us the way. But before we do, we have the Eurythmics coming as our warm-up band. That's right. For Jesus, it's a whole show today. You get to enjoy the warm-up band, and then you get to enjoy phase 1 and phase 2. And then the day goes on. You get to interact with each other and share all your joy and your insights and interact with Pete. So it's going to be a beautiful day. So thank you all. I love you. I'm so grateful that we can share this deep dive together. We're going down the rabbit hole. And I can't think of a better song to tip us over into the rabbit hole than this opening song. So enjoy the song, feel the joy and love in your heart, and then lean back and enjoy the ride and let the Holy Spirit take you on a ride. See you soon. I'll pop in during the episodes.